Hello everyone, how are you? Hope you all are having a happy Friday. I'm a little bit later than my typical lives. I am going to talk today about thyroid triggers. I'm gonna share this to my thyroid group, and then let's see. It's called Thyroid Education and Awareness Support. So I'm going to share that live real quick into the group, so bear with me. So that way, if you didn't catch my live the other day, scroll down because I did a live about hypothyroidism and the basics about it so you can understand thyroid problems. But also, sorry, my little one's in the background. So if you're coming in live, drop a 1 below. If you're catching the replay, drop a replay below. And what we're going to talk about, if you're just hopping on, is thyroid triggers. So what triggers I'm just sharing this live to other platforms, sorry. So what triggers your thyroid to go crazy, right? That's going to be our topic. So how triggers work are once the thyroid virus has been contracted, it advances from your bloodstream to your lymph nodes, and then it goes to other organs in your body, such as the liver, to the thyroid, and then it actually affects the central nervous system. So during this process, you're going to see, different points where you're feeling really bad some days or you're feeling really good some days. Some days you're going to feel like the life has been sucked out of you. But it's just incubation periods per se. So if you feel like somebody that battles this, I guarantee almost every single person on my Facebook, almost all 5,000 of my friends and over 3,000 followers have somebody in their life that has thyroid problems, whether it's hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, Graves' disease, goiters, whatever. So share this. Sorry, my little one is going crazy in there. You're going to have highs and lows, and at times what's going to happen is this is going to hide out in your body waiting for moments to make a move. So think about the first time you ever stopped feeling normal. Were you stressed? Did you have a financial strain? Were you going through a divorce? Had you had trauma of some sort? Those are the few things that can cause an attack. You didn't attract this. And when you went through something, as I mentioned above, what happens is it brings like a rush of hormones onto your body, including excess adrenaline, which fuels the virus. It's like throwing gasoline onto it and igniting the flames. And so what happens is those hormones signal the virus that the immune system isn't as strong as what a normal, healthy person is, right? So that screams that it's a prime time for an attack, right? Because you can have hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, and like I said, there's some days that you're going to feel perfectly fine. But there's also triggers that have nothing to do with your emotional state, right? So this is a virus, and the virus needs fuel. So what I'm going to go over next is like some fuels that fuel the fire, right? So if you see any of these that set off an alarm for you, like what you've personally experienced or whatnot, these things may make you go, because knowledge is power. And if you scroll down, you'll catch my last live where I talked about introducing thyroid, hypothyroidism, how it works and things like that. So you could, here's some of the things that can fuel an attack to cause you to basically feel bad and trigger your attack. So it's going to be things like mold, mercury-based amalgam fillings, other forms of mercury, like ones that are found in seafood. If you have a zinc deficiency, pesticides, herbicides, including DDT, experiencing some sort of trauma. Your B12 is in, if you have a B12 deficiency, if you've had a broken heart or a betrayal, that's a form of trauma. You know, if you're caring for a loved one or a sick person and you're just feeling them, like you're feeling their pain that they're going through, you know. And there's some medications that are considered virus-friendly prescription medicines, like benzodiazepines, which is like for depression, anxiety medications. If you're going through a financial strain, if you're over-prescribed medications, like if you don't need that high of a dosage, or if you have a combination of a bunch of medications when you really don't need them all, going through like physical injuries, like broken arms, or, you know, things that you're physically hurt. If you have hormonal changes, which is me personally, going through childbirth, I developed hypothyroidism after I gave birth to my son. You know, pregnancy, puberty, all of those things. But also recreational drug use is another way that this can trigger what we call an attack, right? Have you ever thought about, have you had your carpet like professionally cleaned, the chemicals that they use in those? I didn't even think about this, but I painted my house. I've painted it twice and over the last 5 years, and I didn't even think about paint triggering it, right? But another thing is swimming in lakes and oceans where red algae resides. Have you ever seen, I know down in Florida, I've seen a couple of times where they're like, oh, you can't swim because red algae is so high. Well, there's red algae in all of like lakes and oceans, but sometimes they're too high. But just swimming in them can trigger, you know. And then things such as, you know, being near like a runoff where there's old land and dumps, insomnia, not getting enough sleep, insect bites, like stings or like a venom that goes throughout your body. It's so crazy. Like the other night I got bit like right here. I was just sitting on my couch and the bump's still there. And literally my neck down both sides of the back, it literally felt like I had whiplash, like I was in pain, like I had to go and take some Motrin or leave, I think it was, because I started feeling bad from whatever it was that bit me. And I was just like, wow, this is crazy. Like, what the heck? It was literally within minutes that I felt horrible just from that. But I really hope that this gives you, you know, some insight. Feel free to click share, you know, Sharon's Karen. If you're not in my group that is just for thyroid issues, it's called Thyroid Awareness and Education. Join there, join the community of other people that battle with this horrible issue. And, you know, we're all here for each other. I took over this group yesterday, and it was just like, there were so many people that wanted information, but there was so many spammers in the group. So what I did is I set the group to private. I started going through, deleting all the spam out of it, deleting all the people that were spamming in the group. But anyways, I want you to understand, so that way you can begin healing. So it's all a process. So you want to, you know, go back and watch the first video. This is the second video. And remember that these are not causes. They're simply triggers. And a trigger is just that, a trigger to bring on basically an attack. And like I said, thyroid virus is really, it's a fire, and the trigger fuels the fire to be hotter and to spread faster, right? So use this list to heighten your awareness, to protect you and your family, because if you have this is something that can be passed on to your children. That, I mean, that's what I got. It's hereditary, and my mom has it, my dad has it, my sister has it, my niece has all of us are hypothyroidism. My niece was 17 when she had to have radiation done on her thyroid because it kept going back and forth between hypo, hyper. She couldn't get it stabilized. The medication she was allergic to, it was just a mess. And you know, it can affect anyone. It can affect children even, but they will not diagnose someone younger than 6 with thyroid issues. They actually name it something else, like rheumatoid. I can't remember what it's called. I have to remember. But it's named something else, like for small children. But the thing is if they would bring awareness and studies and education to physicians to better understand it, they could start diagnosing it at a younger age in a beginning phase and maybe help control it better versus it keep getting worse and worse and worse and being undiagnosed, you know. And actually, the monovirus is linked to thyroid. Like, it's considered phase 2 of hypothyroidism, but it goes misdiagnosed because it's some people are diagnosed with mono, but if they don't handle it, it'll actually progress to thyroid issues. So, but I'm going to go in that on the next live. I'm going to try to go live like every other day, hopefully, and just educate more and more and more on thyroid and thyroid problems and stuff like that. So in, what's today? Friday. So Sunday, we're going to discuss how the thyroid virus works. So make sure that you're subscribed to my page if you're coming in from my Facebook, or if you are in the group, the Thyroid Education Awareness. Make sure you turn on your notifications so you can be notified when I go live in there, because I'm really, really, really going to dive into thyroid in education and awareness, because I think it's so important, because it affects so many people in this world, and a lot of people are walking around and don't even realize that they have thyroid issues. Because I know for the longest time I was undiagnosed, and my regular physician kept saying, oh, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine, your blood work is coming out fine. Well, I didn't know any better, but in actuality my regular physician was not doing all of the appropriate tests. So I followed my gut, because I was like, I'm about to fall asleep when I'm driving home with my child in the car. When I had my son, I was just like brain fog. I couldn't get enough sleep. It was just like my hair was falling out, my skin was dry, my nails were like tearing off. It was just, I stuck to my guns, and I kept going to another doctor, and then he helped me in the beginning. But you know, last year so in November, I got COVID, and then my numbers, I just was feeling really bad. And so I was like, I want to have my stuff tested again. And, you know, one doctor told me that your numbers it was like my thyroid was right at an 8. And I was like, that's not normal. You know, optimal for me is like a 1. And so he wouldn't change my medicine even at an 8. And I was like, this is ridiculous. You know that my thyroid numbers are up, so you're telling me I have to live like this, like barely functioning? And he didn't return my calls or nothing. And I was like, this is total bull. But I kept at it, and then I finally found a clinic that's based out of Florida. I'm in North Carolina, and they actually gave me my slip, and I went to LabCorp, got my labs drawn, and their doctor is working with me now. So it helps me so much. So I hope you all got some value from this. And like I said, please click the share button. If you're joining in from the group, make sure you invite your friends or family in that battle with thyroid issues, and hopefully they can learn something too. Hope you all have a great day.